this matter is not concluded, would you, as the Auditor General, put it on record to us now that we move to approve this loan the way it is?
Very much, Chair, once again. I would think that let's get the figure that is presented finally by the Auditor General. We are requesting for just a few more days, not beyond next week, so that we provide the actual figures that we can defend. So if there is some time to allow for that, because Auditor General would not want really to report on estimates. This is not our final report. All the reports that we submit to Parliament are signed off after going through a quality check, after going through final reviews. So to me, I know my Assistant Director would, yeah, okay. So that is the advice I would give, and I would request that you give us a few more days and we finalize this, because rather than having to incur penalties or incur costs, even when you go for a loan, you're also going to pay interest. So the more the loan, the higher the interest. But it's better when you pay the interest knowing that you are actually, it's based on actual figures. Yes.
As stakeholders in government, have you managed the buyout properly? Because we would have expected all these things should have been done. All that Auditor General highlighted they should have done, should have been done. But now, until 28, we are yet going to get reports, and the estimates of error contradict that of the Auditor General, and we even don't know what the Auditor General based their initial estimates on. You have pointed to a term called modification. Could the modification as a term led to variation in the figures? I think there's more that needs to be interrogated, but unfortunately the people who should have done it have decided to manage this process to deny opportunity for scrutiny. I think if there are options to engage with Umeme on deferring any penalties on this matter, I think that is what the government can be able to do, so that we do not incur expenses or costs arising from our failure to meet our obligations. But from the look of things, figures are a problem, and we have more to do in examining Auditor General's report, because there are so many questions they have to answer. What they relied on, I'm sure the report will have attachments and what to which we will make a reference, and we can't be able to do that within 2 days and conclude. So, Chair, as a way forward, I think the regulator or whoever is responsible for that agreement, concession agreement, must be able to reach Umeme and do an amendment, so that we have probably more time to engage. If that is not feasible, then Auditor General up to 28th is too far, because from 31st is when we should have concluded this process, and who delayed it up to that time. I think there's something we should be able to agree on. I wanted to find solutions from you people. What is the way out of this, that we do not want our country to incur costs?
What has come clear out of today's meeting is that there are figures government agencies are disagreeing on figures we should pay Umeme. The error is talking about tentatively $127 million that they have knowledge about as the regulator. And the Office of the Auditor General is saying the data they have is showing we would need about $190 million to pay Umeme. And the concluding position is really there's no clear data. And the country must pay attention to this if they do not want to lose. We are at a critical point where we must know how much did Umeme invest which was not recovered through the tariff, and why was it not recovered? We need to know if Umeme's obligations to government and any other parties have been, met. We need to know how the figure actually reached 190 when ERA is saying a different thing. And here Ministry of Finance is pushing on the basis of speculative figures. So as I said last time when the proposal the supplementary was being approved, I indeed brought this matter up, that there is no basis for us to conclude that the figure is 700 plus billion. That money is just going to be eaten by the wolves who are already targeting this process. Already you can see the disparities over $70 million. So where is that money going? Where is the basis that we should have appropriated that money, and yet the records here is showing something else? So right now we have now demanded that the agencies of government must reconcile their figures and be able to submit. And we're also hearing that it's like UEDCL is not ready to take over, and there are going to be blackouts, and that are going to cost the country colossal sums of money. These are all planning and management issues. And what the people of Ministry of Finance do is to create crisis. They create emergency so that they can benefit out of the emergency, and it's very, very wrong. As a committee, we will be critical, and I've implored my colleagues to stop rubber stamping of things like this, because at the end of the day the cost is passing to the people. Just a few days ago someone came with data that now each person in Uganda is indebted to a tune of 2.3 million. Do some of the Ugandans even know what the debt has done? No. There's the contradiction which must be resolved. We have spent a lot of money in the energy sector, on grids, on substations. How different are those investments from the one Umeme is now claiming? These are all things that need to be reconciled. But unfortunately, they have turned it into an emergency. They had up 3 years to conclude these matters. They had time to critically examine the submissions. They did not. They were waiting for an opportunity to bring a loan request so that we will just, approve. Then they go and do their things, which is wrong. If they are working for the country, these are public matters. They should be able to discuss them publicly, and we needed time. So I would think the Attorney General must engage Umeme on the penalties which are in this agreement. There is a provision for amendment. We need like a month, 2, 3 to be able to reconcile these figures. Otherwise, I'm already seeing through this process, Ugandans are going to lose money, and it shouldn't have happened. Thank you.